Hey, welcome back to the channel. When it comes to producing music, I am a true believer in developing the best sounding possible take while tracking before mixing, because in my opinion it's the best way for you to make sure that your mix is gonna be fantastic in the end. And today we're gonna be joining me while I am producing the guitar tone for a song that I produce here, professionally speaking, for one of my clients. And we're gonna be using a technique known as reamping. Reamping is a technique that allows for a guitar or bass direct signal to be recorded, for it to be processed by a proper effect chain and amplifier at a later stage, allowing for precise tone crafting. For example, when using an amp simulator software like Amplitude, you can keep tinkering with the sound of your take because what is recorded is the clean DI and not the output of the guitar modeler software. I'll be doing the same but with analog gear, by outputting the previously recorded DI into my amp and pedals through the use of a reamp box, which turns the output of my interface into the right signal for my amps. In this video I'm going to be using an assortment of tools, including a guitar amplifier in the form of a Marshall head, alongside a plethora of pedals, all while I explain all of my moves when they happen. But if you happen to be working in the box, don't worry, because all of the techniques explained in this video are totally compatible and easy to be replicated in the box. So before we get started, consider subscribing to this channel so you can get more content like this coming down your way. Okay, so let's record some guitars. But first, we gotta make sure that the amplifier is sounding correctly. For today's journey, we're gonna be using the Marshall JCM 2000, which is one of my favorite amplifiers over here in the studio. And I decided to pick this one up because the track, it's mellow, it's kinda a little bit heartfelt, and also is designed to be played as the backing track for the introduction of a podcast, which is gonna be produced by one of my clients, which happens to be a motivational speaker. So I already hear you say, dude, Marshalls are known for being loud and punchy, and you're gonna be using it in this kind of mix? Yes, because I will take advantage of the beautiful sounding, clean tone that comes out of those Marshalls, because I want something warm and not that present. Okay, so with that being said, let's play back the music. This is what we got so far. I'm gonna press play and I'm gonna be introducing the sound of the guitar little by little. Here we go. Okay, as it is right now, it feels a little bit too kinda high-endy, don't you think? But worry not, we're gonna be addressing it. But first, let me show you how we're recording this bad boy. Over here, we got this plugin, which is Sound City Studios, and it's a fantastic recreation of many things. Among them is IRs. And we're gonna be rocking, or we are rocking actually, a 2x12 that kinda looks like a box cabinet. Now, over here in the real world, we're actually using the Marshall being sent into the mini rock rack, which is my DI box. It allows me to record the sound of the amplifier without damaging the amplifier into an audio interface. And then we're gonna be feeding the audio interface, and from here we apply the cabinet sound using the Sound City Studios. So now we understand this, let's take a look at the amplifier. I'm going to press play once again, and I'm going to be addressing the high end by working with the treble and the presence. So here we go. Okay, that sounds amazing to my ears. Now I'm gonna be adding a little bit of reverb to the sound of the Marshall, because I think that that's gonna make the sound of the guitar a little bit more cozy. And for this, we're gonna be using the built-in spring reverb that comes with this bad boy. It sounds beautiful. So let's see. Here we go. Pay attention to the release tail, because even though it's already making itself present, we can run the risk of adding too much of it and boosting the low end of the amplifier. Well, in the mix, of course. because it's playing rhythm. So as it is right now, I like it. I like it by its own, but I think it's gonna muddy up the entirety of the mix. So I'm gonna dog down the reverb, but not that much because it's almost there. There it is, look at that. Awesome, right? So as it is right now, I'm happy with the guitar tone coming out of the amplifier alone. So it's time to hit the pedals. See you there. Okay, welcome back. Now we're gonna be working with the pedal board, so let me introduce you to the stars of the show. Over here we got this monstrosity of a pedal board that I designed for this session. We're gonna be rocking first, starting from the far right. We're gonna be We're gonna be rocking a custom built booster that I got like more than 10 years ago, and it sounds very good, especially with this Marshall. Then we're gonna be hitting the Tumnus by Wampler, a fantastic sounding pedal. And from there, we're gonna be hitting the Polychrome, or whatever the name is for that awesome flanger, or phaser, I don't remember what it is, but it's a fantastic modulation effect. And then we're gonna be sending all of that into the Warm Audio Pedal 76 as a master compressor for the entirety of the signal path. The Eventide mod factor will be used later, but ignore it for now. So, what will be the good one for this, or what will be my pick for this sound? I think I'm gonna go straight for the booster, just to add a little bit of extra, how can I put it? Not saturation, well, yeah, saturation, but not distortion. So let's begin from there. Here we go, I'm gonna press play. Okay, it's already doing it. I told you. Those two guys work beautifully together. But now, should I add more distortion or more saturation to the tone? It might be a possibility, but it won't happen out of the booster. Why? Because it's almost all the way down to the final point. It's almost to its limits. And a booster is just going to make the sound of your guitar louder. It adds a little bit of color, because you could tell that as soon as I press it on, there was a little bit of extra grit. But I put it at the very beginning of the signal path because we can actually boost the input of the Tumnus with it. And we can get a much more aggressive tone. But being very frank, as it is right now, I think it's working beautifully, and I will use the Tumnus for a different part of this production. Now, the real question is, should I add a little bit of modulation? This is the first guitar we're going to be recording tonight, because I got a second guitar, because we're going to be panning them both to the left and the right, and I think it's going to be a good idea having a little bit of modulation on one of them. So I think we should try it, just for the sake of it, and let's go for it. But first I'm going to turn on the compressor, because that way we will be able to control the dynamics, especially those hard notes coming out of the strumming. So here we go. Pay attention to the dynamics, okay? Fantastic, love it. Because now I could hear everything happening on the guitar. Because the strumming was obviously loud, because it's actually hitting the guitar quite strongly. But when the piece went to that arpeggio, note by note section, it felt that it got lost in the mix because it's less dynamically speaking intense. But with the compressor, we pushed that section forward without actually squashing the entirety of the sound coming out of the guitar. Now let me explain briefly how the compressor works. This kind of circuit has an input knob, which is gonna be the one that determines the threshold of the compressor. The threshold on a compressor, for those of you who are not familiar with the terminology, is basically setting or telling the compressor how loud the signal has to be before the compression happens, okay? And in this case, depending on how hard you push it, you're gonna determine, technically speaking, the threshold. Now, the next knob is gonna be the output, which is basically speaking the one that controls how much signal is coming out of the compressor circuit. It's important to balance it correctly because you can be fooled by loudness. And you use it as a way to compensate for the moments on which the compressor actually docks down the volume of wherever signal is going through. Okay, then you got the attack and release, which are controlling the dynamics. When something is, the attack controls the moment in which the transient happens, and if you set it fast, it's gonna be clamped down almost immediately. As soon as the transient goes through the compressor, it's gonna be squashed. But if you set it slow, you can get more dynamic range, much more dynamic range. Sorry, because you can actually boost the moments on which the peak happens in this case. And since the plan was to control the strumming, that's why we went for a faster attack. Then we got the release, which is basically speaking doing the opposite. It's gonna tell the compressor how long the signal is gonna be squashed before opening up again. And in this case, we went for a slower release because we wanted to keep the whole thing kind of cohesive, and it worked. Also, ratio. Final one. It's gonna tell the compressor how much compression is gonna happen every time the threshold is trespassed. Okay, good. It's working. I'm happy. Now, I think it's time to try the Polychrome. So let's play around with it. And I put it there not because of the phaser flanger, because I always forget what it does. A sound. It's because it also works as a beautiful quasi-chorus. So here we go. Let's see. I think for this one it's gonna be better if we listen to the sound of the guitar by its own. So I'm gonna solo the guitar. Give me a sec. Perfect. Let's see. We got it rolling. I'm gonna be very honest. I like it, but I don't think it's gonna work with this track, at least for this particular guitar take, because I can't hear the effect too much. And being frank, it's kind of distracting because there is still a lead guitar tone that will be used later on, and that's the one that should be the one that, of course, gets the most of your attention as a listener. So I think we're gonna bypass it. And I think we got a good sound for this guy.